वेलकम टू मेडिसिन बचिप्स। आज हम स्टडी करेंगे नॉर्मा फ्रंटालिस। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी विल सी द बोन्स। दिस इज द frontal bone. This is the squamous part of the frontal bone. Okay, this is the orbital part of the frontal bone. Next we will see these are the this is orbit. Superior orbital margin, inferior orbital margin, supraorbital notch, infraorbital foramen or notch. Okay, infraorbital foramen, supraorbital foramen or notch. Okay, these are the superciliary arches on the frontal bone. Depressed area, slightly depressed area between the two superciliary arches is the glabella. This is glabella. All right. Next we will see the nasal bone. This is nasal bone. Internasal suture. This is the internasal suture. Okay. Nasal bone. This is maxilla bone. All this is maxilla bone. Okay. This is the frontal process of maxilla bone. Frontal process of maxilla bone. Nasal bone. Nasomaxillary suture. This is the nasomaxillary suture. Frontal process of maxilla and frontal bone. Frontomaxillary suture. This is the frontonasal suture. Because this is nasal bone, this is frontal bone, the frontonasal suture. This is the interfrontal suture. If it persists after adolescence, it becomes the metopic suture. Okay, in three sutures: frontonasal suture, interfrontal suture, intermaxillary suture. The meeting point of three is called as nasion. Okay, nasion. Next, this is the zygomatic bone. Zygomatic bone has two processes. This is the frontal process of the zygomatic bone. This is the temporal process of the zygomatic bone, which will form the zygomatic arch. Frontal process of the zygomatic bone, temporal process of the zygomatic bone. Okay. This is the foramen, zygomaticofacial foramen. Okay. Next we will see the this is maxilla bone. All this is maxilla. These are the alveolar processes of the maxilla. Okay. This is the anterior nasal spine. Anterior nasal spine. These are the nasal cavity. We will study in detail. This is the vomer bone in orange. Vomer bone. Okay. This is vomer bone. This is the in red ethmoid bone. This ethmoid bone in red. In blue, inferior nasal concha, middle nasal concha. This is the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone. Perpendicular plate of ethmoid bone, middle nasal concha, inferior nasal concha, vomer bone, and these are the between these are the is the nasal cavity. Okay, this is nasal septum. Nasal septum bones कौन सी हैं? vomer bone, perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone जो हमें यहाँ नजर आ रही हैं. ठीक है, और कौन के मैंने आपको बताया. Next we will see the orbit. In the orbit, this is the lacrimal bone in green. This is the orbital part of the ethmoid bone. Perpendicular plate, middle concha, and orbital part of the ethmoid bone. Okay. Next, we will see this is the orbit. Supraorbital margin, infraorbital margin. Orbit has four boundaries: superior wall, inferior wall, lateral wall, medial wall, and apex of the orbit. Okay, apex of the orbit. We will study the bones forming the orbit. Okay, superior wall is formed by the two bones. Lateral wall is formed by the two bones. Inferior wall is formed by the three bones, and the medial wall is formed by the four bones. So, how to remember it? 2, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we will study which bones are forming the superior, medial, lateral, and inferior walls. Okay, so let's start. Superior wall is formed by the two bones: sphenoid bone, lesser wing of sphenoid bone, and the orbital part of the frontal bone. I have studied. I have told you. Okay. नेक्स्ट हम देखेंगे कि जो सी लेटरल वाल है, लेटरल वाल किन बोन से मिलकर बनती है। लेटरल वाल में मैंने आपको दो बोन्स बताई थी, ठीक है, ज़ैगोमैटिक बोन, ज़ैगोमैटिक बोन का फ्रंटल पासेस, और यहाँ पास कौन सी थी, स्पिनाइड बोन का ग्रेटर विंग, ठीक है। दिस इज द थिकेस्ट वॉल ऑफ द ऑर्बिट. This bone is inferior wall is formed by the three bones: zygomatic bone, maxilla, and one bone, this palatine bone. So it is formed by the three bones: maxilla, palatine bone, and the zygomatic bone. Okay. Medial wall is formed by the four bones: nasal bone, maxilla bone, frontal process, lacrimal bone, orbital part of the ethmoid bone. Okay, four bones are forming the medial wall of the orbit. Okay, we will see the optic canal, superior orbital fissure and inferior orbital fissure. Okay, in the you can see this is the optic canal in the lesser wing of sphenoid bone. Optic canal in the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone. Okay, this is the superior orbital fissure, this is the superior orbital fissure, and this is the inferior orbital fissure. Superior orbital fissure, inferior orbital fissure, and this is the optic canal. This is the fossa for the lacrimal sac. You know, जो lacrimal sac होती है, nasolacrimal duct में ओपन होती है, और जो nasolacrimal duct है then फिर हमारे पास inferior मेटस में ओपन हो जाता है ना, जो ये यहाँ पे मैंने आपको बताया अभी, तो कोंका के नीचे मेटस होगा, उस मेटस में जाके इस सैक में ओपन होना है, ठीक है। ऑप्टिक कनाल, superior orbital fissure, inferior orbital fissure, and this is the fossa for the lacrimal sac. Okay, so these are the alveolar process, antennal spine, and suture. We will study the sutures. This is the zygomatic-maxillary suture, zygomatic frontozygomatic suture, or nasomaxillary suture, lacrimomaxillary suture, intermaxillary suture, two maxilla bones, right and left, and between the intermaxillary suture, nasion, meeting point of three sutures, glabella, superior ciliary arch, two arches, frontal bone, squamous part, orbital part. So that was all about the Norma Frontalis, bones, orbits, sutures. Thank you for watching. Allah Hafiz.